I'll be faced with rhinos, elephants, great white sharks, and maybe some man-eating koalas. That's all to come on JHN Travels. Don't miss it, please. Hello and welcome to the next episode of JHN Travels. It's amazing what the buses do here. I was expecting to be dropped off at a thermal theme park, if you would call it that. Unfortunately it didn't. It dropped me off at a service station and I've now got a 2-kilometre walk with the elephant on my back. But anyway, you can join me in Rotorua and the lovely Waiotupa, which is here in this episode. Just before we start, if you're wondering what's happening to the timings of these videos, basically because there was nothing to do in Wellington because it was raining all the 3 days I was there, I've now got to squish 3 videos into the space of 2, so the times are a bit out. So I've just been to the Waiotupa thermal wonderland, and as with any tourist destination, I can't go around vlogging and filming because it would be absolute havoc. However, I've got plenty of pictures for you and some explanations, so here we go. So the thermal park just so happens to be situated in a geothermal hotspot just outside of Rotorua. Underneath the ground at one of these geothermal hotspots, the magma and the Earth's crust is a lot closer to the surface. This means anything on top becomes superheated. The rocks just underneath the water are absolutely boiling hot, and that causes the water to boil at 100 centigrade. However, it's not just the water that is boiling, it's also things like mud, which causes mud volcanoes and fumaroles, which is where boiling mud bubbles, and this in turn creates almost mud-like mounds, hence the name mud volcanoes. That's not all though, because the chemicals in the rock and the water happens to be acidic, so when it starts boiling it creates a pool of boiling acid underneath the rock, and that is perfect for erosion, so it causes lots and lots of craters where the surface is unsupported and collapses in. Here's just one example at the thermal wonderland called Devil's Home. On top of erosion, you also have things like earthquakes and volcanic activity, which sets off these craters as well. So it's basically a crater hotspot and not the safest place to be walking around. The chemicals due to the volcanic activity here are abundant. We have things like sulfur, carbon, hydrogen sulfide, etc, etc. There's loads to name. However, any colours that you see in the pictures are all because of chemicals, and one of those chemicals that's very abundant is sulfur. So have a look at a few of the pools and the rocks where this sulfur builds up into crystal formations and beautiful yellow greeny lakes. Whilst there was geysers here at the park, it's all down to timing. You have to get the right exact times, and these geysers here were very infrequent. Some in Iceland, for example, happen every 10 minutes, but here up to every 36 hours. So unfortunately I didn't get the timing right, but what is a geyser? Well, this is a huge vent that goes right down closer to the centre of the earth. That means that temperatures down there boil the water to extreme measures. Suddenly you get a build-up of water vapour and gas that gets locked in small air pockets inside the rock, and eventually when the pressure gets too much it all rises to the top, creating a huge gas and water explosion flying up into the air. One last thing to mention, as it is the title of this video, is that photo here. Now, why is that photo so dangerous? Well, if I step back and accidentally fell over, I'll be falling into 100 centigrade boiling water. Pretty dangerous. Also, it's full of chemicals, which isn't all that good, and the gas that you see rising above it isn't water vapour, no, it's carbon dioxide, so you don't really want to be standing about there for too long. So I quickly took a picture and then got out of there. So that's why that's probably one of the most dangerous photos in the world. However, there's still loads to come, don't worry. I'll be faced with rhinos, elephants, great white sharks, and maybe some man-eating koalas. Don't go anywhere because there's still loads to come. Next I'm going to be in Rotorua if I can catch the bus in time with this elephant, and there'll be plenty more geothermal activity and geography to come. See you then. Welcome to Rotorua. It certainly takes time to acclimatise to the sulphur smell here, but once you've done that you can enjoy the amazing scenery. In the main lake here you can see lots of bubbles and that's sulphur rising, so I'll see if I can show you some images of that. Now there's not a huge amount to say about this place, but it certainly feels like you're going back in time. There's a huge Maori population here, and even though it's built up, the shops are more village-like than a town or city. Behind me is the Cameron's hot tub pools, which were thought to, in Maori times, be used as public baths. However, the gases given off of this, which were carbon dioxide and sulphur gases, actually acted as dentists' laughing gas, and people started fainting in the bath, so they were quite dangerous to use. As a final mention for Rotorua, behind me you'll see the lakes are slightly green, and that is because of the sulphur dioxide here that bubbles up and creates sulphur crystals that are suspended in the water. Now I'm still trampling towards the bus. Even though I'm walking with an elephant on my back, I can't really complain. I mean, it's a lovely sunny day. Listen to the birds. It's fantastic scenery as well. Take a look at this. If this goes out, then I've made it, so that's all good. If you did like this video, then please do give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when the next JHN Travels video is out. And finally, comment below on any questions you may have. Thank you so much for watching JHN Travels, and I'll see you in the next episode, my last episode, a summary of New Zealand.